Let us observe the coordination of internal organ system. In a human body, each system depends on the others either directly or indirectly to keep the body functioning normally. Groups of organ systems work together to make complete functional organisms like us. To understand this concept, we analyze how digestive system is coordinated with other systems as an example. We shall study the digestive system from feeling hungry to utilization of food, illustrating the interconnected processes going on in our body. For feeling hungry. Generally, the major cause for feeling hungry is on account of changes in the composition of blood circulation. Blood maintains the levels of different substances of our digestive system. Glucose is one of the major substances. When glucose levels fall, we get hunger pangs, hunger contractions in stomach. This in turn produces series of proteins and some hormones like ghrelin. Ghrelin is secreted from particular cells present in the walls of stomach. These hormones cause hunger signals that reach the brain from stomach. Diencephalon present in forebrain and vagus nerve, 10th cranial nerve, play a major role in carrying these signals to the brain. These hunger pangs continue up to 30 to 45 minutes. If the levels of ghrelin hormone increases, then it leads to sensation of hunger and motivation to consume food. Other type of hormone called leptin is secreted when our stomach is full. Usually we take food at a particular time. Due to this, every day we start feeling hungry at that time. We experience this in our school days during lunch hours. Outcome of sensation of hunger. We noticed that various types of organ systems are involved in the process of digestion. Generally, feeling hungry leads to consume food. Sometimes you might have experienced that stale food is outrightly rejected before intake. What plays a major role to identify the stale food? Relation between taste and smell. Both taste and smell are closely related to each other. This relationship is made clear in how we distinguish the flavors of food. Suppose if one is suffering with severe cough and cold, then the flavor of the food or smell or the combination of taste and smell are being affected. This is because during cold and cough, only the taste of food gets detected instead of smell, food odor. The taste buds detect mainly the tastes of salt, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami, pleasant savory taste. However, the interaction between the taste and smell improves our perception of food we intake. Taste. In order to taste the food material, the food must be dissolved in saliva. That is, the food should be in the form of liquid only. When the dissolved food enters the taste buds, the sense of taste is carried to the brain for analysis. Smell. Generally, when we smell, the airborne substances get dissolved in the watery film of nasal mucus. The chemoreceptors in nose, also called as olfactory receptors, which trigger the signals in the form of nerve impulses to the brain where smell gets detected. Picking up the slight differences in smell, the tastes of food are identified in our brain. Now, let us learn about the relationship between different sensory organs and preference of food materials by an activity. From this activity, it is observed that taste is identified easily in less time when the tongue is pressed against the palate. We know that tongue is a sensory organ and consists of taste buds with several taste-sensitive cells on top. Any food substance placed on the tongue gets dissolved in the saliva. When the tongue is pressed against the palate, the food particles get pressed to the opening of the taste bud, letting it reach the taste cells and triggering taste signals. Finally, the taste gets recognized in the brain. The muscles of mouth help in pushing the food from oral cavity and to be moved around. Teeth help in swallowing the food by crushing or grinding and chewing it. This process is termed as mastication. During mastication, the surface muscles of jaw help in biting and chewing actions by moving the jaw up and down and forward and backward. The movement of jaw muscles is controlled by the fifth cranial nerve. The tongue movement helps in mixing the food with saliva. Now, let us learn in brief about saliva by doing an activity. From the image on screen, identify the parts of the mouth that help us to taste the food. The first one is done for you. The esophagus receives food from the swallowing action of the mouth. The structural and functional schematic representation of esophagus is shown on the screen. From this activity, we learned that it is similar to the movement of food in our body. The muscles present in the walls of esophagus does the same thing as that of cycle tube in our experiment. The walls of the food pipe secrete a slippery substance called mucus. This mucus lubricates and protects the esophageal wall from damage and helps the food bolus to slide down easily. The saliva present in the food bolus also helps in easy movement of food into stomach. Generally, the walls of esophagus consists of two kinds of smooth muscles. Inner layer consists of circular muscles. Outer layer consists of longitudinal muscles. Contraction of circular muscles leads in narrowing of the esophagus just behind the bolus. Because of this, the food gets squeezed downwards. Contraction of the longitudinal muscles leads to widen the tube in front of the bolus. By contraction and relaxation of these muscles, a wave-like motion is formed that pushes the food bolus into the stomach by the action called as peristalsis. This peristalsis is already studied in the very first chapter, Nutrition. Peristalsis action will be under the control of autonomic nervous system. From the image on screen, identify the parts of the peristaltic movement of bolus. The first one is done for you. Stomach as the mixer and digester. When the food is present in the oral cavity or mouth, the nerves present in the cheek and tongue get stimulated and send messages to brain in the form of nerve impulses. These in turn get transmitted to the wall of stomach and stimulate the gastric glands to produce gastric juice. The walls of stomach secrete juices containing hydrochloric acid, HCl, stimulated by nervous system. When the muscles of stomach contract, the food gets mixed with the acids and juices present in stomach. These digestive juices convert the food into a smooth chopper-like texture called chyme. As the process comes to an end, the contractions of the stomach decreases. This relaxes the muscles called as pyloric sphincter at the opening of the stomach and the first part of the small intestine or duodenum. This in turn opens the pathway into duodenum by releasing the partially digested food chyme in small quantities into the duodenum. Peristalsis involves the contraction of the muscle behind the food and the relaxation of muscle in front of the food. This process helps in forward movement of food. Now, let us observe the action of peristalsis in animals. We know that the digestion of food starts from mouth and passes through the gut. In order to digest, the food settles for some time at different locations. Due to this reason, the food does not move uniformly throughout the digestive system. The table on the screen shows the average time periods. Our stomach looks like a pouch which is elastic in nature because size of stomach increases depending upon the food which we eat. Based on the quantity of food material, the digestive juices are released. If same amount of digestive juices are produced irrespective of the quantity of food, then the walls of the stomach would be destroyed. The HCl acid secreted by walls of stomach is strong enough even to digest the hard bones. Mucus secreted by different cells present in the walls of stomach forms a thin lining on walls of the stomach. This responds to acid formation. Here, the function of mucus lining can be compared to the function of petroleum jelly in our experiment. Thus, the mucus lining protects the stomach from the damage of its own acid secretions. Now, let us learn how food passes from stomach to small intestine. The food leaving the stomach will be in the form of soup-like mixture. This mixture passes into small intestine. When the food enters the small intestine, the acidic nature of chyme secretes different hormones like secretin and cholecystokinin. These in turn stimulate the pancreas, liver and walls of small intestine to produce pancreatic juice, bile juice and succus entericus. The inner surface of small intestine consists of thousands of finger-like projections termed as villi. The function of villi is to increase the surface area such that the food retained in the folds can remain longer, thereby increasing the absorption. Villi absorb the nutrients in a selective manner because the walls of intestine allows only tiny nutrient particles to pass through and leaves the larger particles inside. Among all the internal organs, digestive tract plays an important role as it is exposed to a large variety of stimuli in the form of ingested food. The digestive tract consists of both the muscular and neural apparatus. They ensure the appropriate mixing of contents during digestion, absorption and excretion. The neural apparatus, which consists of vast and complicated network of neurons, is named as second brain by the scientists. The gut present in immune system protects our body from harmful diseases. The neurons or second brain help the gut cells to kill the bacteria which enters our body. The neurons or second brain in the digestive tract along with the main brain in our skull determine our mental state and play a key role in certain diseases throughout the body. Let us learn in detail about the role and functioning of the second brain. The second brain consists of some 100 million neurons. This is more than the nerves present in spinal cord or peripheral nervous system. These neurons in the second brain are embedded in the walls of long tube of our gut or alimentary canal. This is about 9 meters long, extending from esophagus to anus. The second brain controls several functions of the gut without the influence of the main brain, such as stimulating and coordinating the breaking of food, absorbing the materials, mechanical mixing and expelling of waste. These functions require chemical processing, mechanical mixing, and rhythmic muscle contractions. Few scientists believed that a very complicated system works to move the food material smoothly to and out of our gut. Let us learn how the wastes from gut flow out of the body. The two major pathways which expel wastes from our body are shown on the screen. Now, let us learn how the wastes move out of the body from the large intestine. Take few leftover tea leaves and roll in your hands. Place this on a tissue paper and press it gently and then open. We will notice the tissue paper absorbed the water from the tea leaves. In a similar way, when the wastes like stool or feces enters the large intestine, the water gets reabsorbed. The hard mass-like substance, wastes get stored in the last part of the rectum. The stool enters the rectum with the help of peristaltic waves. The left side of the colon acts as a storage tank of feces. From the rectum, the fecal mass called stool is finally expelled out of the body through anus. Two muscular layers help in the exit of stools from the body through involuntary control, voluntary control. These two muscular structures which help to open and close the aperture canal are termed as anal sphincter. Let us learn how the digested substances move into blood from the intestine. We obtain energy from food when it gets oxidized. For this reason, the process of respiration should go on continuously. During the process of inhalation, oxygen, which moves across the walls of the alveoli and enters the blood, flows into the red blood cells and gets distributed to all the cells of our body. At the same time, the carbon dioxide which is present in the blood flows into the alveoli of lungs and goes out during the process of exhalation. The nutrients in the cells get oxidized and energy gets released. Let us learn what happens if the digestion of food takes place without the coordination of respiration and blood circulation. The process of respiration, that is inhaling and exhaling of air, is an involuntary process. It is controlled by medulla oblongata of the autonomous nervous system. During respiration, the movement of muscles or diaphragm moves the ribcage. This results in the inflation and deflation of the lungs. Our ribcage rises when our lungs inflate and sinks when the lungs deflate. Air containing maximum amount of oxygen enters into the blood through the lungs. We know that digestion is a complex process which involves many organs and systems. Even though digestion occurs in the food canal without the coordination of respiration and blood circulation, the oxidation of food and transportation of substances which release energy does not take place. This may lead to the shutdown of systems that are interdependent. Let us look at this summary. The vital organs in human body are the brain, the heart, the lungs, the liver and the kidneys. These organs play an important role in the human body. A person cannot survive if one or a pair of them are removed. The sense organs are eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. These sense organs take in information from the environment and send it to the brain. Then the brain processes the information and tells to the body how to respond. Different organs can work together to perform a common function, like how the parts of our digestive system breaks down food. We refer to an integrated unit as an organ system. The human body is made up of 11 important organ systems, including the circulatory, respiratory, digestive, excretory, nervous, and endocrine systems. They also include the immune, integumentary, skeletal, muscle, and reproductive systems. The main function of the circulatory system is to transport nutrients and gases to cells and tissues throughout the body. This is accomplished by the circulation of blood. Cardiovascular organs: heart, blood vessels and blood. The respiratory system provides the body with oxygen via gas exchange between air from the outside environment and gases in the blood. Respiratory organs: lungs, nose, trachea and bronchi. The digestive system breaks down food polymers into smaller molecules to provide energy for the body. Organs: mouth, stomach, intestines, rectum, teeth, tongue, liver and pancreas. The urinary or excretory system removes wastes and maintains water balance in the body. Structures: kidneys, urinary bladder, urethra and ureters. The nervous system monitors and coordinates internal organ function and responds to changes in the external environment. Structures: brain, spinal cord and nerves. The endocrine system regulates vital processes in the body, including growth, homeostasis, metabolism and sexual development. Structures: pituitary gland, pineal gland, thymus, ovaries, testes and thyroid gland. The immune system is to make and move lymph, a clear fluid that contains white blood cells which help the body fight infection. Structures: tonsils and adenoids, lymph, lymph nodes, lymph vessels, thymus, spleen, appendix and bone marrow. The integumentary system protects the internal structures of the body from damage, prevents dehydration, stores fat and produces vitamins and hormones. Structures: skin, nails, hair, sweat glands. The reproductive system enables the production of offspring through sexual reproduction. It is comprised of male and female reproductive organs and structures which produce sex cells and ensure the growth and development of offspring. Male organs: testes, scrotum, penis, vas deferens, prostate. Female organs: ovaries, uterus, vagina, mammary glands. The muscular system enables movement through the contraction of muscles. Structures: muscles. The skeletal system. This system supports and protects the body while giving it shape and form. Structures: bones, joints, ligaments, tendons, cartilage. In a human body, each system depends on the others, either directly or indirectly. To keep the body functioning normally, groups of organ systems work together to make complete functional organisms like us. You have successfully completed the chapter Human Anatomy.